So I just got done playing the Diablo 4 beta this past weekend, and I didn't get to play too much of it, but as a Diablo enthusiast, I mean, this franchise has ran in my blood for quite a while. Maybe that's not like the best thing to say, but I have been very excited about Diablo 4, but also very pessimistic against it, mostly because I truly have not loved an RPG from Blizzard since Diablo 2, the original Diablo 2 at least. And, well, before I get any further into this, hi, my name is Zach. If you're new to this channel, this is Critics Play Games, where film critics talk about games on a daily basis. I'm a film critic. This is my second channel with some friends, and today I'm talking about Diablo 4 because I am, again, a Diablo enthusiast. Not the satanic cult, just the video games. And when we look at this, I grew up playing the first game with my father. I love the first Diablo game. The second Diablo game was transcending for me when it comes down to gaming in general and how much I love that game. And the remaster of 2 I really liked. I thought it was pretty much the exact same game. I hated the server issues. I still think there's quite too many, but it was exactly the nostalgia blast that I wanted of going back in there, and I played so much of it because personally I just don't have the best PC to run that game. Well, I probably do, but it's a pain in the ass. I don't want to rebuy the game. But now we jump in to Diablo 3, which I played on PC, I played on my Switch, I played on my PlayStation, I played on Xbox. I've played that game constantly. But every time I played it, I always felt this lackluster feeling after beating it. I think it's a good game, but I think there's certain things whether it comes down to the gothic tone, some of the classes in there, which I know they added more later on, such as the Necromancer, which is my personal pick, but I never really jumped it back into there because Diablo 3 for me was the story, the dynamics, the areas you went to. It felt repetitive of 2, but as well as felt like an entirely different game and a little bit too modernized for my personal taste when it comes down to dungeon crawlers. And specifically, a lot of that was in the combat and the RPG skill trees, and I wanted something more of Diablo 2, and I understand you gotta advance, you gotta move forward, but you gotta find that fine balance too, because again, Diablo 2 was that perfect balance. So what I'm about to tell you is that Diablo 4 is the perfect balance between Diablo 2 and what was brilliant and amazing about Diablo 2, and what, of course, is great about Diablo 3, making Diablo 4's first experience within the open beta fantastic. As a Diablo enthusiast, this is an incredible first look at the game. Again, a lot is going to come down to the end game, the rest of the game, and specifically all that. We just got a small little chunk of the map, and specifically a small little chunk of the game itself. But from what I played, I was addicted. And to say the least, I didn't get to play Friday because the servers were crap. Saturday, the servers were crap. And I already know the servers are probably going to be crap opening day. But I did get to play a little bit of Sunday, and I was hooked. And then Monday, right before the beta went offline, I just literally played like 6 hours straight. And it was amazing. It was everything I wanted to be. I literally hit max level just in that little time period that I played, and that's saying a lot how dedicated I was to this. And what it really made me feel is that Diablo 4 has that gothic, dark style that Diablo 2 had that I found that 3 was missing quite a bit. And as a first impressions, I really dug the vibe of it. I really love the aesthetic. The graphics look absolutely phenomenal when it comes down to the cutscenes, but it did feel like a more modernized Diablo 2. And then the combat very much felt a little bit more like Diablo 2 as well, a little bit slower paced, but I loved picking the Necromancer because that's the only class I got to do. So throw down below in the comment section what classes you guys got to try because I'm very curious. Probably going to jump between that and the Druid, but getting to see how the Necromancer now works with this passive skill, where in the original game you actually had to mana up and RPG skill tree it up to raise the dead and bring skeletons to life, and this one is just a passive ability and you have a whole different other skill tree for spells. I really like that different tone. Again, it feels very much Diablo 2, Diablo 3's progression in all sorts of those instances, and it continues to be exciting to see how all of these undertones work, how every single aspect works. It was cool seeing a lot of different creatures from Diablo 2 make a return in here, and as well, see how those kind of come and intertwine with here, and I loved being able to, again, make my skeleton army, be that Necromancer I wanted, find all these different spells, and my favorite thing was the exploding corpse. Like, bringing that ability back was awesome. A little bit too powerful in here, but I am not one to complain about powerfulness. I was blowing up corpse here and there to just decimate these demons and demonic entities. And one of the other things I really loved about this was the little events that you could find, which of course a lot of MMOs and a lot of live service games have done recently, whether it's like Destiny, Fortnite's done it, but Diablo has a lot of them, and I never found any of them to be too repetitive. I always found interesting to kind of do them and figure out how many creatures I have to kill this time, or what is the way that I can kill this mini boss battle so I can get more loot. And I always found, again, that grind to get that next piece of loot. And when you're in a looter shooter or a loot and dungeon raiding kind of game like this, you want that feeling of jumping in and wanting to get that next piece of gear that's going to make you stronger, make you more powerful, make you be able to face off against that next villain. And Diablo 3 personally never really gave me that champion to want to go back. Diablo 4 is giving me that feeling. And it is so damn cherishable to really feel that in finally something like this. And again, for the 8-9 hours that I played of the Diablo 4 beta, my first impressions is this is a fantastic opening and a fantastic return to this entire world. I think Blizzard knocked it out of the park. And when it comes down to Blizzard RPGs, I didn't really get into World of Warcraft. I've always really loved Diablo. Diablo 3 wasn't my cup of tea. I did really like the first Overwatch. Overwatch 2, technically Overwatch 1.5 it's okay. It's not grabbing my attention, even though it is pretty much the same. There's just not enough there for me to really jump back into that, but this is exactly the game that I wanted. And I'm actually really happy I played the beta. I was going back and forth if I was even going to touch this thing or if I was. And I ended up downloading it just on a whim just to try it, and they have my money. I hope Blizzard can really definitively narrow in this game, make it a fine-tuned well machine, and just push out a fun-ass dungeon crawler that we don't get enough of days, that we can play with friends, and that it can just be a blast. This is the type of dungeon crawler that I very much wanted, and I'm so happy to see what Blizzard is able to develop here. I don't really care about the story, I'll be honest with that. There might be some people complaining about that, but when it comes down to the actual combat and the dungeon crawling and the looting and everything of that, it checked the box for me. So I'm very impressed with that, and I think Diablo 4 is absolutely everything that I could have won as of right now. Again, this video could age completely bad once the actual game come out, but let me know down below what your guys' first impressions is. This is just my quick editorial for Diablo 4. I can't wait to hear your guys' thoughts, and of course, until next time, make sure to keep playing games and hit that like and subscribe button for more content on a daily basis.